Augustus Pugin was what we call a medievalist. He believed that, as he called, pointed architecture was Christian architecture. He believed that society had deteriorated in the Victorian period, and he wanted, through his buildings, most of them having a religious reason, was to take society back to the sort of values of the medieval period. So everything that he did in his architecture was trying to take people back to the idea and values of the medieval Christian society. One of the important things about that was that anything that he found in a town like Cheadle that dated back to that period, he wanted to make the most of it. Of course, in the middle of Cheadle, you have the Market Cross. And so when St Giles was built, one of the important things for Pugin was that he could visualize a ceremonial procession of priests and people with banners coming down from the Market Cross and down into the church to celebrate St Giles' Day, when it was the day of the saint who the church is named after. So that sort of quality, that sort of use of the townscape, we talk about townscape as we do landscape, was to give people this sort of quality to their lives, where the church was a very important part of it. If you were training to be an architect or a designer working in the design of towns or a town planner, it's very important that you study the fabric of the existing town or village or city before you put your building into it. You understand it. And that's what Pugin did in this case. The project that we're doing today with you, which is part of a bigger program called Building as a Book, it means that you can look at a building, and you can look at this building that we're in now, and you could tell the story of it from looking at it. So all of us today are working together.
Some of the drawings that Pugin did, sometimes he didn't do a whole drawing, sometimes you just do a section of the drawing. So if you see a tile, there might be just one part of the tile that you think, oh, I really like that bit, and you can draw that.
In buildings, like when we look up at the roof of St Giles, that the shape of the things we're looking at are a product of how strong they are. So the shape of the building is sitting on a big base below the ground, made of stone. And then the building comes up and up and up, and just in the way that you pointed out, which is very important, that is coming up to a point. When you told me the definition of an architect, you said about building, and you said about art. Now the great thing about Pugin is that he combined the two. He was a builder, he was interested, he was deeply interested. Pugin started working for his dad, who was an architect, when he was 14. 5 years older than you.
So this is like our storybook of the church, isn't it? And your ideas and your memories of being in the church and the things that interested you. So there are elements of this. So although these are your ideas and your drawings, there's still some parts of it that people can see where your ideas have come from. So that's a very good observation.
This is Pugin's famous church called St Giles. Pugin used to call Cheadle Perfect Cheadle because of this. And as well, Pugin, we call this Pugin's Jam.
10 years ago, I was baptised in Pugin's Design Church, and I had a nice celebration after. Today I've enjoyed drawing different things what Pugin had designed in our church.
The spire is almost 200 feet tall. Whichever way you come into Cheadle, you will always cast a shadow over you. And now we're celebrating Pugin's 200th birthday in Cheadle.
My granddad and his friend Philip both worked in Thomas's copper factory a long time ago. And Philip, his friend, and my granddad both worked on the Cockerell weather vane. And there's a sphere of metal in the middle telling everyone who helped to build it.
When you look around, it just amazes you. It's just walking in, and then if it's your first time you've ever walked in, it just blows you away. You're speechless.
It's very different because when you're just going to Mass, you don't really look around and see all the details properly. But now when I've looked around and seen all the different details, I think I know a bit more about Pugin's designs now.
There's been one new experience today. We've experienced where the main back doors have been open. It felt very weird but nice. Because you're coming into contact with all the outside, not just this, because you can hear all the birds outside and the traffic and all the people and everything.
Vianney.
Right.
And he said, I didn't even know he made the church. But when we came here, I knew a lot more than I did before we came here. Before I came here, I didn't even know a church was famous. I didn't even know people came from, say, Germany or France to come and look at it. I only thought, oh, it's just another church. But no, I know it's famous and I'm proud.
I look back on that day when we came, and it's like shining light really, because I think they all lit up that day, and the things that they were doing, and then now to come in here and see the colours as well. So it's I suppose it is that these are our future, and it was the light shining from them, showing hope, and the ability that they've all got.
It's having something to draw like that, it just puts your mind to it, and the book's made it more special as well, because it's like it's different than a usual sketchbook. It makes it more special than a different big pad of paper.
Yeah.
It's not a pad of paper, it's a book. Well, then everyone can
Moving it out. Yes.
It's like your mini art gallery to yourself and to share with the world, because you draw into it for yourself and then show the world what you can do.
It's really spectacular that we all work together to make such a beautiful place, and we would never have done it without all of you people helping us. It really looks amazing.
We've put together the exhibition in a similar way to the way that you've worked. So it is a collage of everything so it's a collage of sounds, a collage of drawings, a collage of colour. It's all the elements of a collage of sculpture. So it's all those elements.
The interesting thing is that the project that you've done with us, that everybody's done, is called The Building as a Book. And when you're talking like that, it's like when you're talking about a story that you were told as a child, or a story that you've read. I remember that bit where something happened. And so buildings do that for you. You actually go into them, and if you open a book and you were reading it, you remember some part of it.